The moon is in Taurus and the sun is in Virgo. That's an earth trine, a gift to feel more fixed, consistent, or stubborn about yours and others, practical, mutable, scattered, and efficient ways to go about routine, pattern, limits, boundaries, work, stress, and health. Let's go deeper into this alignment. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. Book consultations with me using the link tree to reach the Instagram down below or by emailing me. So, Moon in Taurus, what does that mean? Taurus is fixed Earth, ruled by Venus. It's the feminine side, the internal side of Venus. It's also ruled by the Earth, and the Moon is exalted in Taurus. And Taurus comes from the second house. Being fixed Earth means being fixed, consistent, focused, or stubborn in practicality, security, privacy, pleasure, profit, limits, boundaries, routines, patterns, and work. Venus brings more pleasure and more focus on sophistication, beauty, commitment, superficial and about value judgmental aspects, plus a focus as well on exchanging energy and value. But Taurus, it's the internal side of Venus, so it's specialized in receiving, maintaining, caring, and supporting values, pleasure, energy, responsibilities, and care itself. So the focus here is Taurus are way better, or they tend to way more to get focused or react about receiving love, receiving validation, receiving beauty, pleasure, safety. But they also, or the energy of Taurus is also very good at maintaining, taking care of, and supporting even others' validation, beauty, sophistication, safety, and structure as well. Being ruled by the earth means that Taurus can see and feel better the value, the bountifulness, the reality, and the limits and boundaries of this world. The moon being exalted in Taurus means that Taurus, way easier than other signs and other energies, overreact, over respond, and have exaggerating feelings and emotions, and also very fixed moods, especially when it's about their value, their safety, their needs being met, and their or what they value sense and reputation of being beautiful, sophisticated, comfortable, or efficient. Being from the second house means a focus on value, valuing, and being valued. Also, a focus on associating your identity with your values and your physical aspects of reality and possession. Also, it brings a focus on supporting and being patient. That includes as well toxic or unprofitable relationships or exchanges. So, in the end of the day, Moon in Taurus means being fixed, consistent, or stubborn with overreaction and exaggerating feelings about value, reality, pleasure, comfort, work, and your needs being met. Also, fixed or consistent feelings about cultivating or supporting a pleasurable or efficient environment, emotionally or physically. With the sun in Virgo, we have a trine with the moon. So there is a gift to see, act, or express more mutable and flexible ways to bring practicality, efficiency, and communication, especially because Mercury is also in Virgo. So those things are being brought to fixed or consistent feelings and emotions about reality, pleasure, comfort, and values. This can bring a gift in the form of an easier time communicating or receiving efficiency, pleasure, support, and comfort, but also can come as a curse because it's easier to act, see, and express or be seen in a scattered or delusional way about yours and others' core set of values, comfort, and profit. This alignment can bring a sense of confidence, stability, and sophistication to yours and others' routines, patterns, work, health, and organization. But on the same note, it can bring stubbornness, insecurity, greed, or grudge into environments that deal or focus in status, money, and safety. This alignment can also help you deal with emotions and feelings in a more logical and practical way, and can help dissolve any pressure or knots, emotionally or physically speaking, by bringing mutability and fixed emotions that are associated or derived from reality, value, pleasure, and safety. So, in general, a good gift because it can bring more flexibility and communication skills to your fixed emotions and feelings that are associated with reality, value, pleasure, and sophistication, but also that same gift can bring scatteredness, lostness, or sacrificing your individuality or your core set of values to be mutable, flexible, or non confrontational in work, health, and routine associated spaces. Also, you can feel more secure and more sure about your values and your value, so you might be able to bring that value into routines and patterns, or you might be able to uphold way better your limits and boundaries in mutable or flexible situations that deal with routine, work, health, and organization. Or you can be too stubborn, or might have a grudge and you might sacrifice efficiency, profit, or flexibility to maintain that fixed feeling or emotion. And all of this, remember, is way more focused in the realms of the physical realm, of status, career, progress, building something up, being sophisticated, being efficient, money, safety, security, pleasure, but always way more focused with reality. Even though the moon is in Taurus, those feelings and emotions are most likely triggered or associated with real life scenarios, or how you feel or how you think others feel about your current situation or your core set of value or your way to attract beauty, sophistication, safety, and privacy. And let's see what is the tarot card for today's alignment. It's Cardinal Air King of Swords. So this means that you can be a great intellectual support, a great communicative support, or a great support when it comes to relationships. And I think this is mostly because Mercury is also in Virgo, and Mercury represents ways to think, communicate, and analyze. So with the moon in Taurus, that is a stronger sense of confidence, security, and value. And with the sun and Mercury in Virgo, you can bring that sense, that value, that knowledge, that sophistication, or that emotionally efficiency, and then communicate it in a real, logical, but fresh, uplifting, and flexible way to yourself and to others around you, especially in spaces that deal with routine, pattern, work, stress, health, or organization. And also remember that even though you have the power to support, even though you have the power to bring more logic, more clarity, and more uplifting thoughts, ideas, or systems, make sure to choose correctly who are you supporting, who are you helping out, who are you associating with by giving this great logical support. And what's the best way to use or to be the King of Swords in this case is using the Earth and Air Dragon. So bring more practicality, more thoughtfulness, more profit, more efficiency, more privacy, and more reasoning to how you think, communicate, and analyze. But at the same time, keep your structure, keep your safety, keep your privacy, and your responsibilities light, flexible, and uplifting in your mind and in the space around you. And as usual, now let's take a look at how the Moon in Taurus and Sun in Virgo are aligning the rest of the natal chart. We have Mercury in Virgo conjuncting the Sun and trining the Moon, so a gift to think, communicate, and analyze in more external, flexible, mutable, or scattered ways your deep feelings, your overreacted emotions, your overreactions, your over responses about feelings that are connected with reality, value, validation, profit, beauty, safety, and efficiency that are being processed or created in a fixed or consistent way. Then we have Venus in Leo, which is fatal attracting the Sun in Virgo, but it's squaring the Moon in Taurus. So it's easier for us to insert happiness, spirituality, creativity, validation, or egotistical aspects into ours and others' perspectives, actions, and expressions that deal with routine, pattern, work, responsibility, stress, and health, but we are learning how to communicate, how to commit, relate, enjoy, love, and have pleasure in a lighter, more unique, more satisfactory, in a more egotistical way as well. And that comes from the moon being in Taurus, so fixed emotions about reality, safety, security, how you look, how others look at you. And then Venus in Leo is more open, more outgoing, caring and thinking less about all those earth like things, not caring so much about the responsibility, about the look, about the status, about the what it means to do something. Venus in Leo is way more about doing it for the sake of it, for the sake of the experience, for the sake of the validation, for the sake of the pleasure. But there is a common ground here, which is the pleasure and the consistency or stubbornness. But Venus in Leo, it's really teaching us, or there is an opportunity for us to learn how to communicate, relate, and commit in lighter, more spiritual, creative, and individual ways about our fixed, consistent, or stubborn feelings related with values, reality, beauty, sophistication, pleasure, and profit. Then we have Mars in Libra, fatal attracting the Sun in Virgo, so that means we can create new, logical, sophisticated, and lighter ways to bring our passion, frustration, aggression, or motivation into ours and others' actions, expressions, and wants when it comes to flexibility or scatteredness in routine, pattern, responsibilities, limits, or boundaries. And it's in conjuncting, aka misunderstanding, the moon in Taurus. So we are misunderstanding how to feel, overreact and over respond, and also how to attract or dealing with attractions that come from new ways to think, communicate, and analyze in a more valid, logical, and sophisticated way. Passion, frustration, anger, motivation, deep desires, personal insecurities, personal values, or personal interests. Then we have Jupiter in Cancer, sextiling both the Sun and the Moon. So this is an opportunity to have more consistent and stubborn feelings, but also more valuable, more bountiful, and more stable feelings and emotions when it comes to expanding in new ways, traveling in new ways, and obtaining new wisdom and knowledge about the subconscious realm, about emotions and feelings, about how you create moods, worlds, and things in general, and also an opportunity to see, act, and express in a more mutable, realistic, and valuable way about yours and others' new ways to travel, expand, and obtain wisdom and knowledge about the subconscious realm, feelings, emotions, and spiritual purposes. So it's a great opportunity here to bring our new emotional and spiritual expansions, our new emotional and spiritual wisdom and knowledge into a more consistent, safe space, a more valuable and bountiful internal space, but also a external space, an external image that it's more flexible and can reach further spaces without sacrificing structure, responsibility, and status. Then we have Saturn in Pisces opposing the Sun and sextiling the Moon. So, an opportunity to feel more confident, valuable, insecure, or not capable of bringing our values, our sophistication, our beauty, limits, boundaries, and safety into reality. And the Saturn opposing the Sun means that you can be opposed or balanced by the world when expressing, associating, and seeing in more mutable, flexible, or scattered ways ours and others' routines, patterns, work, and stress. And this can happen because Saturn in Pisces means building, associating, doing networking, applying limits and boundaries on a more mutable, spiritual, creative, and emotional way. So the world is more open to your core set of values and core set of feelings. And it's also the world is more open to reality, structure, and validation if there is a spiritual purpose, a spiritual creativity, or a spiritual wisdom and knowledge that needs to be revealed or shared with the world. Especially when we talk about Sun in Virgo opposing Saturn in Pisces. Because if there is no purpose, Pisces, if there is no emotion or no juice, Saturn, aka the world, structures, safety, infrastructures, networking, and association will reject way more likely the pattern, the routine, the work, the stress, and the worry being brought by Sun in Virgo. But then there is an opportunity for you and others to feel more accepting, to feel more supportive, and to have a bit more care if the routines and patterns brought by the Sun can connect with the emotions and feelings of Saturn to then make the worrying and the stress actually something worth reacting and maintaining within your internal space. Then we have Uranus in Gemini, squaring the Sun in Virgo, and fatal attracting the Moon in Taurus. Squaring the Sun means that we are learning how to see, act, and express in more profitable and efficient ways about change, opposition, innovation, and rebelliousness. And Uranus fatal attracting the Moon means we can feel more insecure, more stubborn, more bountiful, and more realistic and more personal about what's being communicated, thought, and analyzed throughout the world in a more logical, light, and cold way when it deals with opposition, innovation, change, or rebellious energy. Neptune in Aries is in conjuncting the Sun and fatal attracting the Moon. So that means that you might be misunderstanding how to act and express in a mutable and practical way about new feelings, new visions, and new desires derived out of archetypal generational gifts or curses, and you might be feeling more valuable, more capable, more stubborn, or deeper in general when it's about you connecting with reality or receiving something from reality that is associated with new feelings, new visions, or new desires derived from big archetypal generational gifts or curses. And last but not least, Pluto in Aquarius, misunderstanding the Sun in Virgo, and squaring the Moon in Taurus. This means that you and others might be misunderstanding how to see, act, and express in a more mutable, flexible, practical, and efficient way about the transformation process that the world is going into with Pluto in Aquarius. And with the Moon in Taurus, you're learning how to feel more safe, more secure, and more valuable and bountiful when transforming into this new world where it's all about being or associating yourself with a unique mind that can express themselves freely in a consistent or stubborn way, and that the focus is about bringing humanitarian values and progressive values to the mind, structures, and infrastructures in the world. And before we end the video, let's focus on the squares of this moon in Taurus, because I think it's really important for us today to learn how to feel valuable, learn how to feel pleasurable, learn how to feel bountiful, learn how to feel sophisticated and efficient, emotionally speaking, by maintaining our core set of values, by maintaining what we have been building so far, and then learning how to relate and compromise those things in a lighter, more creative, spiritual, and unique way. And then, very important, learning how to feel valuable, practical, and capable to bring our core set of values and to bring what we have been building so far into this transformation process that the world is going through right now to achieve Pluto in Aquarius. And make sure to believe in yourself and in all possibilities. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe, and book consultations and readings with me using the links down below or the email as well. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. See you all next time.